All right, meanwhile, elsewhere in the Democrat Party, Nancy Pelosi yesterday made a somewhat bizarre announcement earlier in the day where she was at a press conference, and she said that, oh, by the way, a little bit later, I'll be reading a poem written by Bono about Putin. And there was never any other explanation as far as I know. It's like, why? Why is Bono sending Nancy Pelosi poems? Is there something going on between those two we need to know about? And what's happening exactly? None of that's explained. But then a little bit later, Nancy Pelosi gets up, and this is all documented by C-SPAN. She gets up in front of the select crowd and reads this poem that Bono wrote about Putin, hoping that this would cancel World War III. Let's find out if it was successful.
Before I introduce them, I got this message this morning from Bono. And most of us, we're always, whether we're in Ireland or here or whatever it is, Bono has been a very Irish part of our lives. And he said this. He said, "Oh, St. Patrick, he drove out the snakes with his prayers, but that's not all it takes. For the smoke symbolizes an evil that arises and hides in your heart as it breaks. And the evil risen from friends, from the darkness that lives in some men, but in sorrow and fear, that's when saints can appear, to drive out those old snakes once again. And they struggle for us to be free from the psycho in this human family. Ireland's sorrow and pain is now the Ukraine, and St. Patrick's name is now Zelensky."
Well, that did it. World War III is canceled. The war's over. From what I understand, Putin packed up, sent all the troops home, and that was it. That was the end of it. That poem, I mean, first of all, Nancy Pelosi, that was a terrible. I don't know if we can blame. I don't know who to blame primarily for this. Do we blame Bono or do we blame Nancy Pelosi? Because it was a terrible rendition. She did an awful job. I mean, Bono sent you a poem for some reason, and you're gonna recite it on camera. Did you not practice it ahead of time a little bit? Try to do Bono some favors here. Make it sound a little bit better. But so it was a terrible rendition. The poem itself was awful. And in the poem, Zelensky is now a saint, and he's a St. Patrick specifically. So between the song we played yesterday for you and this poem, as on this show, we were just assaulting your eardrums with the cringiest material imaginable. And it's going to get worse from here, by the way. I got to tell you, we got a few more things to play in a second, and you're going to really hate me by the end of it. But between those two things, Zelensky is Superman, Jesus Christ, a saint, a man who's going to save the world, and St. Patrick. My God, we're just losing our minds. We're losing our minds. Now but the real question we have, I think, and I'm sure you thought this when you're listening to that, which poem was better? Was it this one? Was it Bono's poem for Putin? Or was it whatever that CW actress who wrote the poem for Putin about how if she was Putin's mother? And if you don't remember that poem, then let's listen to it again.
Dear President Vladimir Putin, I'm so sorry that I was not your mother. If I was your mother, you would have been so loved, held in the arms of joyous light. Never would the stories plight the world unfurled before our eyes, a pure demise of nations sitting peaceful under a night sky. If I was your mother, the world would have been warm. So much laughter and joy, and nothing would harm. I can't imagine the stain, the soul-stealing pain that the little boy you must have seen and believed, and the formulation of thought quickly.
That's it. I can't do it. That one's worse. That one is still worse. I mean, listen, that's an achievement in its own right. It's hard to out-cringe Bono. You know, Bono is kind of like, is and has been forever cringe made manifest. The cringe became man, and it was Bono. So it's hard. And given the field you're playing on here, cringy poetry, that's Bono's deal. That's what he does. And somehow that chick was able to outdo him. So you got to some respect there. And we're just going to gloss right over the fact that Pelosi said that Bono is a very Irish part of our lives. What? What does that mean? This is what happens when we have a bunch of 97-year-olds running the world at a moment like this.